into the catbird seats. Here we go. And Drea and Bill Margold are adult film stars, and they're up here to appear tomorrow on People Are Talking on Channel 5. I'm going to be sure to watch that. And so they have an opportunity. Whoops, Rosie, come back. Let's see. Bill, do you see that button that's flashing there on your right? Yep. That one? Push it where it says on. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Well, I don't know. The interconnection, when you control the button over there, then I can't control it here, see? But it's okay now.
Is it?
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, good. Yeah, I just played disc jockey.
Kill it. And Bill, if you'll swing that microphone facing you more.
Not the kind of buttons I'm used to pushing.
No, indeed not, huh? Yeah. Well, Bill and Drea, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Hi.
You normally are down in Southern California.
Los Angeles.
Los
Since
Angeles.
we're bringing tea to China by coming to San Francisco to do a talk show about pornography, since this is the home of it, the mecca of pornography is San Francisco, or at least they'd like to think so.
Yeah, we like to think we're the mecca of a lot of stuff. You know. But this gives you an opportunity to get away from the heat down there. Understand?
We came right into it here.
Oh, yeah, but not like Southern
No,
California.
we're sweltering down there, and we're used to sweating in L.A., though.
I guess you are. Don't they have air-conditioned sets for you?
Oh, God forbid. You would hear the air conditioning on the film.
That's true, you would. Yeah.
We work in 110-degree, 120-degree heat situations with lots of hot lights.
Oh, who can get it on in weather like that?
That's part of the fun of it, is the test.
I guess it's a test.
It makes a man out of you.
Does it make a woman out of you, Drea?
Oh, yeah. Believe it or not.
That really sounds like work.
Sweat sells, however.
Makes you look hotter.
Does sweat sell?
Oh, absolutely. You don't want to see two placid-looking, semi-blue bodies laying in bed banging their brains out. You want to have sweat. You want to hear the moans and the groans and see them working at it.
And
It
if you
looks
don't
better.
sweat, they'll put glycerin on you.
That's true. They'll spray you down.
So you're sweating.
Yeah.
Sweaty bodies.
Sweating and growling.
Yeah.
We give them what they can't get at home.
Now, you two have very differing attitudes about where the industry is now and where it should go. Drea, what's your attitude about adult films?
Oh, well, just exactly the opposite of Bill's. Bill believes that we should keep the X-rated industry filthy and dirty and in the backyard. And I believe that we should clean it up and make it more sensual and let it come into the house.
What do you do talk about at breakfast?
Not much.
We rarely eat breakfast. You don't have time.
Yeah. Well, that is astounding that you have such differing attitudes about it. Give us a little support.
Well, I think
if you
mine's
can,
based
Bill.
on the fact that I've been in the industry since 1972.
Okay.
So I am a pioneer, and I'm also a dinosaur in the same time, because I feel that what I was working in, which was the underground, has now surfaced. And when the underground surfaces and breathes the fresh air, it begins to wilt. We were better off working in the gutters and the sewers and clandestine situations. In fact, the first time I came to San Francisco to shoot an X-rated hardcore situation, I was picked up at the airport and driven around for 2 hours, so they tried to, in a sense, lose me in San Francisco, so I wouldn't know where I was shooting my material. We then shot the material, and then the man who was shooting it proceeded to get lost and didn't know where he was, so I had to explain to him where he was so we could go back to his house, because I'd been here the previous summer delivering and selling newspapers on the racks, so I knew where I was, but I thought it was rather cute. Now, in fact, yesterday, I was terrified to find out how, quote-unquote, legitimate the X-rated industry has become. I went to Century City to negotiate an X-rated deal, and I was, scooted up to the 26th floor of a penthouse situation with 100 little offices and whisked down the hall with all these people not knowing what the other people were doing. I don't want it that way. I believe truly that the business should stay out in the yard where it belongs. I want it to be something that you can't get as easy as to take it home and slap it into a video recorder and watch it that way, because we're going to become passé.
Oh, you think it's going to then it'll get into the role of, well, ho-hum.
Exactly.
So acceptable.
Ordinary.
So safe. Ordinary.
I don't want to
Good
be
word.
ordinary. I don't want to be normal.
I can tell, Drea.
But it doesn't have to necessarily be filthy. Bill makes filthy movies. I mean, filthy.
And what do you make? You make classics? What?
I make nice, sensual, clean films.
If
you
you have-
can make love without making filth.
Yeah, if you have a choice in the matter, you make that kind of film.
I try to keep my choices.
Yeah.
Bill is into seeing a lot of oral ejaculations on the woman's face and whatnot, and I will go out of my way to avoid having to show something like
Well,
that.
now, will you absolutely refuse to do that sort of a cum shot?
I did it once with Bill I won't do it again.
Yeah, Annette Haven also has the same rule in her life.
It's good for their faces. It's the highest grade of protein you can buy.
I'd like to see his face get it.
The whole thing is, the reason I do it is because how many husbands can do that at home? I give them what they can't get. I don't practice what I preach. I do it on the screen. I don't bring it home. I don't want to bother bringing it home. I don't have the time to bring it home. What I do on the screen in various super X-rated situations, I wouldn't want to begin to take the time to do at home because I'd mess up my bed.
That's right.
I would defile various cooked chickens, as I did in Intimate Lessons. I beat the hell out of a table in a movie called Lust Inferno, which just opened and closed in San Francisco. It's been censored. An X-rated movie getting censored is reprehensible.
Censored by whom?
Censored by people, by the distributors, by the exhibitors. They're scared of what I do, which is ludicrous. How can you be scared of something that's X-rated? How can you be scared of a bottle of iodine? If you don't want to drink it, don't. No one's forcing you to. They don't stand outside of X-rated theaters with lassos dragging helpless people off the street to force them in. No one's ever died from an overdose of pornography.
Yeah.
We're an entertainment business. I just try and entertain, but I bend over backwards and in other positions to give them what they want to see. And they do want to see it, because I've been in audiences that cheer me on when I do it. And then they come out and say, oh, boy, you dirty guy, you got away with it, didn't you? I say, you're damn right I got away with it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm being paid to do.
All right, our telephone number is 928-0104, and our guests are Drea and Bill Margold, adult film stars. And if you'd like to call up and engage in conversation with them, why, have at it. If you want to ask them some questions, very specific questions about their roles as adult film stars, and what they do and how they feel about the whole thing, this is your opportunity. They'll be with us until 7 o'clock. And then our next guest coming in at 7 o'clock will be marriage, family, and child counselor Daniel Beaver. Isn't that a nice name?
That's appropriate.
Yes, and he's from the Relationship Counseling Center in Walnut Creek, and his new book, Beyond the Marriage Fantasy, has just been published by Harper & Row. 928-0104.
Interested in computers and how they apply to your business needs? There's a free show that's perfect for you. It's the North Star Microcomputer Show, all day, 8:30 to 6, Thursday, July 14th at the Sheraton Palace Hotel. You'll see demonstrations on word processing, accounting, financial spreadsheets, and graphics. You'll get information on telecommunications, invoicing, project management, and local area networks. If a computer can do it, they'll demonstrate it. It's free, but it's one day only, Thursday, July 14th. For more information, call 591-1531.
People who fly for a living.
Why do 100,000-mile flyers choose United?
Front, please.
Hotel developer Alan Musicanto.
A taxi for Mr. Musicanto. The hotel business takes me all over the country, so I have to watch my travel budget. But I still go in style, in coach, on United.
United has the most nonstops to the East Coast, to Washington, Boston, and Philadelphia, with 3 wide bodies every day to New York.
On today's flight, we'll be
Coast to coast, United's nonstop coach service gives me a choice of 3 entrees, champagne with dinner, and on most flights, a center fold-down work table. No one has more coach legroom either. So coast to coast on United, I get a view with lots of room. And in the hotel business, that's a winner.
People who fly for a living.
Fly United nonstop to New York for as low as $199.50 each way when you fly round trip. Restrictions apply, so call your travel agent or United.
This is Sex Talk. Sex Talk is a program for adults. Some people may be offended by graphic discussions of human sexuality and may choose to tune elsewhere. Sex Talk is not a program for children, and parental guidance is strongly advised.
Talk Radio FM 104, and I'm Don Chamberlain with Sex Talk this evening, and our guest during this hour are Drea and Bill Margold, adult film stars, and they're up here from their home in Los Angeles to appear tomorrow on People Are Talking. They'll have a good time with that, and they'll show a couple of clips from one of the films. Well,
2 of them.
yeah, 2 clips.
Her film, Fantasy Follies, which is a marshmallow. I throw rocks, she throws marshmallows. Although I wrote Fantasy Follies.
Did you?
And
I
she
directed
directed
it.
Oh, fantastic. We'll get into more of that. Right now, we have Dion coming on the air with you. Dion?
Hi,
How are you? How do you pronounce your name?
Dion.
Dion. Okay. What's on your mind?
What I was curious about, how does one get started in a business like that
How does one get started?
as an actor?
Okay. Well, let's ask Bill and Drea how they got into it. Bill, what was your beginning?
I got into it as a writer. I wanted to become the George Plimpton of pornography. I wanted to write and then tell people what it was really like, and they found out I could do more things with my fingers besides type on a typewriter. And then I became the agent, and the biggest, most successful agent in the history of the X-rated industry. I discovered Serena, I discovered Seika, Lee Carroll, Pat Manning, Maria Tortuga, Mike Ranger, R.J. Reynolds, legends throughout the industry now. Plus, I discovered my wife, Drea, 3 years ago. And she'll tell you how she got into it because it's a porno fairy tale.
Did you discover her as an actress before you were married or after?
3 years before we were, I've known her for 3 years, so I discovered her 2 years before we were married.
Okay, and
I discovered him.
You discovered him.
We fight over that also.
Okay, let's hear your story of that.
Bill had a write-up in a magazine that comes out of New York about himself, and he said in the article that he was the most marvelous thing to ever hit the face of the earth.
Yeah, he's not humble.
No,
God
he isn't.
forbid.
And in there he said that he could do anything better than the next man. And I called him and talked to him on the telephone, and he told me to go buy an issue of Hustler magazine and to look in it and see what he had to offer. So I indeed did go and buy this magazine, and when I opened it up, Bill showed me in that magazine that his endowments were second to none other than John Holmes, which I have found out now.
Oh, let's see, Holmes is 9 inches.
Holmes
way
is,
more than
is
that.
about 13. I'm about 9.
Really?
Yeah, Holmes is the king. No, all men were not created equal.
Lord knows that's true.
But he invited me to come to Los Angeles, and I did indeed come 2,000 miles. And when I got here, in less than 4 hours, we were rolling around in bed. Now, if you can show us, or show me, that you're in a magazine with more than he has, I'll come see you.
I see.
No, Dion, if you really want to get into the X-rated industry, the easiest way to do it is find yourself a girl and come into one of the agencies, preferably down in Los Angeles, because I don't know if there are any agencies up here. And we would attempt to give you a chance to see if you could function. Now, if you didn't function, it might be an ego-shattering situation that would result in suicide. You come back to your precious Golden Gate and flip yourself off it. It is a tremendously difficult situation to function under the lights. You have to be an automaton. One of the great actors in the industry now, Herschel Savage and also Paul Thomas, have both likened themselves to welders. They consider themselves welders. They go to work, they take their lunch, or they eat their lunch at work, but they also have to perform on cue because it costs a lot of money to get it up, get it in, get it out, and get it off on cue. If you start wasting time, everybody standing around gets very unhappy.
Time is money.
True.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
All right. 928-0104. And Bill and Andrea are going to be with us for the next 40 minutes, so don't waste time in getting your finger in the little hole there and start dialing. 928-0104. And Kathy, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hi there.
Yes, I am. I'm a virgin caller.
A virgin caller. Stand by, my dear. Deflowering music for Kathy. Well, see, our attitude is not too many people get full orchestra
That's true. That's
during
true.
the flowering.
But it's great.
Yeah.
I just called because I just love your show, and I had to tell you something right off the bat that your show is our company's mascot.
The company mascot?
Yes. At 4 o'clock, everybody in our company goes to the radio, turns on the show, and we listen it until everybody leaves, from work to go home, and that's around 6 to 7 or 8.
Well, that's wonderful.
So we're very, assertive, a great group,
Yeah, well, what do? You do your work during commercial breaks or what?
Well, we managed to do both, work and listen.
Well, that's marvelous.
Yeah, but I was listening to your, coming on the way home, your guest, and I wanted to say that I thought both of them have a great idea. My husband and I both really enjoy porno movies.
Mm-hmm.
And we have them at home, and I think they're great.
Have you seen Drea and Bill?
Yes.
In which films?
Well, no, I haven't seen. I don't know if I've seen them. In fact, their name is new to me.
Mm-hmm.
In fact,
Well, rattle off some titles. Maybe she'll recognize you.
Marilyn the Senator, Intimate Lessons.
just loved Insatiable.
You liked Insatiable?
Yes, I thought that was great.
Is that your picture?
No.
We're not, neither one of us are in it. There's only, I'm also a reviewer. I did not like Insatiable. It has only one good scene, and it doesn't involve Chambers. It involves John Leslie and Jesse St. James. That's the great love scene in the movie.
I guess because it was one of my first ones I'd ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
I would recommend her latest film, Up and Coming, is a far superior film to Insatiable.
Really?
It's a lot hotter. It also has a brilliant performance by Lisa DeLeo, who is comparable to anything that Hollywood is cranking out as far as performance. She really knows how to act.
Yeah.
There's also a great scene in that movie between Herschel Savage and Marilyn Chambers that'll make you sweat. Dynamite stuff.
Well, I just, I want to say is I agree with the gentleman that, I think hardcore film, really hardcore, there's a place for it. And I think some people, I like both sides. There's a time when I want to be all romantic and I want to see sex in a very romantic way, and where I could go, with a slide. But there are other times I just want to feel raunchy, and I want to go through the fantasy, the things that you think about.
It's raunchy. So you like it Drea's way and Bill's way, right?
I think they both have a place.
They do. We both. That's the whole thing. That's the marvel of X. We're allowed to be as creative as we want to be, but it gets to the point now where we're being told what we can do. One day you can use your fist, one day you can't, one day scatology's in, one day it's not. I don't like that. I don't want to be told what I can do in something that's supposed to be uncensored.
Yeah, well, of course, the person who's producing and directing the film, as in other types of films, really has the say. What makes you think that you, as the performing star, have all that much right to say what you're going to do?
Because I'm creative, and they know that when they bring me in, I give them 200%. Usually 100 of it's cut out right off the bat, but at least it's there for them to use if they want to use it.
Yeah. Well, I also think, in the porno flicks that a lot of times you want to set yourself into that situation, wishing you were the porno queen or the king.
Oh, fantasy is a great part of it, of course.
So.
Yeah, I watch them, and there's many times my husband and I have turned on a videotape at home and have been on the sofa, and it just followed what we see on TV has followed through ourselves. And it's like you're playing the part, or you feel like you're almost, on stage right there with them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fantastic, Everybody has a fantasy of being the great, lover.
Sure. Now, it might be an opportunity, Drea and Bill, for you. I don't know how often you get an opportunity to talk to viewers, but here's Kathy. You have a question for her.
What do you want to see? What do you want us to do for you in the next film you walk in to see? What would you like to see? What can't you get at home that you think we can give you?
Oh, gosh, that's a hard question to answer because my husband and I do almost everything. We really try it. We try everything. Oh, gosh.
What's your wildest fantasy, barring the pain aspect of it?
My wildest fantasy, I think, for me is wild. I like two women and a man. I think it's just nothing more exciting having this woman, being caressed not only by a man, but by a woman, too.
Now, usually a woman's favorite fantasy, or I don't say usually, I say with most women I've talked with, their favorite fantasy is two men and her.
Lots of men.
Yeah. And then with men, the favorite fantasy of them, of course, is two women and them.
My fantasy is one-on-one. Because then I can do it all to them and know what is taking up my limelight.
I like to be the receiver, And a woman and a man, they both have feelings in their own way, and they know, in their own way know how that woman feels.
Sure.
And they can both give it, I've never done it, but that's my fantasy.
Well, one of these times you might choose to live out that fantasy.
Yeah, well, maybe.
Would you if you had the opportunity?
Maybe. It'd have to depend if my husband, it would have to be with my husband and maybe another person, but it'd have to be if he would go for it, if he'd feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, might happen. Kathy, thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And with us tonight, Drea and Bill Margold. They'll be here for another 35 minutes, so hurry up and call and ask them any question you want to ask them and offer any opinion you want to offer. 928-0104 on Sex Talk.
Home Federal Country.
The art of successful investing is a question of balance. The answer is Home Federal. On the one hand, there's our insured money market plan, which earns at a current money market rate and allows you the freedom to use your money. On the other hand, there are Home Federal's high-rate guaranteed investment accounts, which can help you achieve your long-term goals. Using this strategy, you can enjoy both financial convenience and the advantage of high rates for terms ranging from 18 months to 10 years. We'll work with you to help you achieve the right balance of investments so your balances can achieve more for you.
For long-term rates guaranteed if you invest now, call toll-free 1-800-522-1531.
Federal regulations require substantial forfeitures for early withdrawal of term accounts.
Home Federal Country.
Member FSLIC.
People who fly for a living.
What makes United and the American Express card important to business flyers? Ivan Houston, Chairman, Golden State Mutual Life Insurance.
Believe it or not, I'm here on business. This daycare center is one of our important investments. It's good for the community, and our policyholders get good value. I demand the same good value when I fly. and I feel I get it with United.
United has great low fares and great schedules to major cities all over the country. And you can charge your ticket on the American Express card.
United's low fares are part of traveling smart. The American Express card's another. It's honored for hotel and plane tickets, and I get a written record. An insurance man is always happy with good coverage and value. I get both with United and American Express.
People who fly for a living, fly United's friendly skies.
United has great low fares to more of the country's top 100 business centers. For reservations, call United or your travel agent today.
The Massachusetts Institute of Computer Technology Marching Band sings the K-Pro Fight Song.
K-Pro, you got disk drives built in for 1595. Complete with green screen monitor and all of that software to rock. K-Pro hands off to you. Thousands less than Apple II. You're our all-pro, K-Pro 2. K-Pro, we're loyal to you. You rock.
You might not remember that K-Pro makes a business computer with built-in disk drives, monitor, and functional software that lists for just $1,595. But you will.
You're our all-pro, K-Pro 2. K-Pro, we're loyal to you. You rock.
Talk Radio, FM 104. I'm Don Chamberlain with Sex Talk, and our guests are Drea and Bill Margold. And Eric, you're on.
Hi, Bill. How are you? This is a question for Bill, actually.
Sure.
About 10 years ago, I had the experience of being scooped off Hollywood Boulevard and shuffled into a hotel room in Hollywood, and I did a movie with a young lady, and she was semi-attractive. But one of the interesting things about it, that when we started to perform the act, she was strung up in fishnets and lipstick, and she was just made twice as ugly as she normally was. In which case, I could not continue to pursue what I was doing. I mean, it was just such a turnoff. And my question is, why do they see? Not these days. They don't put so much stuff on these ladies anymore. But in the 70s, it was just like they totally transformed them. Was it a fantasy or what was the situation?
But you have to remember back to the 70s that they were identifying with the fads that were current in vogue at that point. So what you were going to go to bed with, fishnets and all, was what epitomized the sexual fantasy of that era. Now you'd be going to bed with something that looked like Lassie in Heat because these punk rock haircuts, or somebody got hit by a rainbow. In fact, at the latest erotica awards, Seika, who I love and adore, showed up with a hairdo that I think she borrowed from Albert Payson Terhune. I've never seen more hair piled up on a person's head, and it was stiff. She looked like the fin of a it looked like she had a hard-on of the hair. I was really just, she's a beautiful woman, but whoever did that to her hair should have been shot. Who scooped you off the street 10 years ago? Do you remember the man's name?
Las Palmas and Hollywood Boulevard.
That's the circle. That's it.
18-millimeter films. It was a little hole-in-the-wall building, and they were recruiting young men to go in and have sex with these ladies in a hotel room.
It might not be even a hotel. It might have been a building called the Red Wine Building, and the man who may have scooped you off might have been a man named Stan Grossman or a man named Reb Salwitz or a man named Bob Rhodes. I know exactly where you were because that was where the super underground was born. It was elevated to a higher strata in San Francisco.
Never saw the film, though.
Well, it's played, and I bet you if you perpetrate the arcades, you would you'd find yourself in there, cut up in little pieces one way or another. But if you didn't function, then the film was destroyed.
Well, I said they continued the film, but I never got a complete hard-on, so I never really finished it. But they didn't want to waste the time. They said, "Well, we'll just keep shooting and get some stills, and hopefully, it'll go." We have only 2 models there, and you've rented the equipment. Apparently, some of that stuff is rented. I mean, they seem to fly into the room and shoot, fly out and turn the stuff back. And it was, like you said, an underground outfit it was, and I was paid $25 for about an hour's work.
Well, that's a lot of money in those days. That's how Johnny started. The King started that way. He used to crank out for $25 a day, as many as he can get him up and in and out. He was paid. Now he's getting $2,500 a day.
Films in Los Angeles, I think they're still $25 if you really need the money. And 10 years ago, it was that case. Obviously so. Otherwise, I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Met up with the young
so you didn't continue on in that new career of yours, huh?
No, I didn't. I'm very well and gifted, but I just decided that, it was an experience, and it was an interesting experience, and I learned a lot, so to speak. 20 years old. Now I'm 32, so I put the assets to work in a different direction.
You know, if a woman says fishnets, you say, "Oh no, no fishnets."
Exactly.
You got a memory, though, and that's the most priceless thing in the world.
All right, Eric, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. And coming up right after the news, we'll have Drea and Bill Margold back with us some more, and you can dial up 928-0104. Now, if all your questions are not answered, we don't get to all the calls in this half hour, where you can just hang on, and you can then talk with Daniel Beaver, our marriage counselor, coming in at 7 o'clock. In this half hour, we tell you how to do it, and the next hour, we tell you how to keep the relationship together. How are you, Rosie?
Oh, I'm fine. Just having a ball listening to the show.
Are you?
Yes. Talk Radio FM 104 News Time 6:33. I'm Rosie Allen. Traffic is still backed up for about 2.5 miles on Highway 24 heading into Contra Costa County. That due to an earlier stall in the Caldecott Tunnel. And the accident on Highway 580 has been cleared up, and traffic is moving again, but still heavy. It's kind of late to be that heavy, but nevertheless, that's what's happening right now. Polish Parliament says it's ready to debate a series of constitutional amendments. That leads some leaders to speculate that martial law could be lifted sometime next week. About 1,300 firefighters are still battling a major brush fire in the Los Padres National Forest. Cooler temperatures and higher humidity are said to be helping to contain that blaze. And the Senate voted today to keep more than $5 billion in funding for the B-1 bomber in the Pentagon's budget. B-1 vote came while the Senate worked over a $200 billion defense spending bill for 1984. Bay Area weather is showing mostly fair and just a little cooler tonight and tomorrow. We can also expect the usual patchy fog or low clouds along the coast tomorrow morning. I'm Rosie Allen, Talk Radio FM 104, San Francisco.
I'll just let you get right back to the newsroom, okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Oh, wow.
Summertime is time for fun, and Talk Radio 104 wants you to make the most of it. It's a summer of entertainment. Along with the Record Factory, we'll be giving away tickets to great entertainment events all summer long. There's something for everyone: exciting rock, outstanding jazz, and great popular music. How do you win? Stop by our participating Bay Area Record Factory store. Fill out an entry blank for the upcoming event. Each week, a winner will be drawn from each store. No age limit and no purchase is necessary. Friday, July 15th, see Donna Summer at the Concord Pavilion. Pick up an entry blank at the Record Factory. Don't miss Donna Summer in person at the Concord Pavilion. Check out your nearby Record Factory today and make this your summer of entertainment.
Be somebody, be somebody, be somebody at Grecian Health.
This is the final week of Grecian Health Spa's Spring Fling. It ends this week, but you still have time for you and a friend to take advantage of this limited membership offer. 2 memberships for the price of 1 for only $88. You'll exercise with the latest equipment, relax in sauna, steam, and our heated pool, and enjoy stimulating aerobic dancing. And all for only $88 for both of you during this once-a-year event. Join cover girl Christy Brinkley and be somebody.
When you're in front of a camera, a pretty face certainly helps. But to stand out in today's world, you've got to be somebody. For me, it all begins right here, the Grecian Health Spa way. It's invigorating, it's soothing, it's fun, and it works.
There's still time, but this is the final week, so hurry. Call Grecian Health Spas right now. Don't miss out. 2 memberships for the price of 1, only $88. Don't you owe it to yourself?
Sex Talk is the name of the show, and our guests are adult film stars Drea and Bill Margold. And let's see, Bill, you've been in the business for, what did you say, 12 years?
11 years.
11
1972, I broke it.
And Drea, you've been at it for?
A little over 3.
A little over 3. How long can you last in this business? I mean, you must think of your longevity.
As long as I can get it up.
Is that really
On
the
cue.
case, or?
Well, I do everything in the industry. I'm a jack of all trades, or the Renaissance man of porn, as they call me.
No, I'm
I
talking
write,
about a
direct.
performer.
As a performer, I'll last as long as I can keep functioning in front of the camera.
Who's the oldest performer in the business?
Male or female?
Either.
I would think that we have a couple over 40 years old now. I don't want to name names because they all like to believe they're still 30 years old.
Sure, of
but
course.
we have the male superstars, all the male superstars in this industry are over 30 years old. John Leslie, Jamie Gillis, Herschel Savage, Paul Thomas, myself included, Johnny the King, Ron Jeremy the Hedgehog. They're all over 30 years old because we know more about sex than we can maintain our own stamina.
Okay. Well, somebody's bound to ask you how you maintain your stamina somewhere along the line.
A good woman.
Good woman, that's right. And how about the women? How old is Marilyn? Marilyn Chambers.
Early 30s, I would say.
Early? Is that all?
Yeah.
Somehow I figured she was older than that.
No, they don't want to admit to their age, and I don't want to really be dragging their birth certificates out.
No, of course not.
But the older they get, the better they get, so don't begrudge them their age. And my 18-year-old marshmallows have a long way to go.
Well, we would assume that the industry would want them all to look like penthouse pets, but that's not the case.
They want reality.
Do they, not fantasy?
No, because the reality can be made into a fantasy. Then, if you're working with something, if you work with a piece of filet mignon, you can turn it into hamburger, but you can't turn hamburger into filet mignon.
Well put. Well put. So, Drea, how long do you think you want to stay in the business?
Okay, well, see, the point with me is that I figure I can stay as long as I keep my looks and my figure.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to stay in front of the camera forever. That's why I've tried to get out there and direct and whatnot, because I want to prove to the people in the industry that a woman can do more than just lay on her back. And there aren't many women out there. However, the numbers are growing with people such as Annette and Juliet that are out there pushing and saying, hey, we're women and we can direct and we can write and we can do just as good as any man out there. And the more we push, I think the more we'll have to do after we can no longer be in front of the camera. I mean, everybody has to face it. We're not going to look like this forever.
Sure. That's certainly true of all of us. And someday, Bill, you'll have to give it up because even though you say you can get it up, you just don't look like the kid you used to be.
I don't have to because I play a multitude of roles ranging from, I just played an 80-year-old man in a movie called Desire.
Yeah.
And I played a 200-pound chicken in a movie called Jelly Beans. And I played a gay director in a movie called Sweet Alice. So I can play a multitude of situations. I look like a senator, a lawyer, or your trusty doctor.
Yeah, you look like the guy down the street.
Exactly. I don't look like a porn star. I don't have rippling muscles anymore. I never really did. But for almost 40 years old, I'm in better shape than, I say, 99% of the people who are my age. I keep narcissistically interested in what I look like.
Do the two of you make any special effort to keep your shapes and keep your health? Do you do anything special, or you just kind of live life?
Well, Bill does. He exercises and watches his weight and whatnot, which is very nice.
You don't push iron, though, huh?
I wouldn't touch it.
No, he doesn't do that. Okay. And I can't watch my weight because I have a various number of ulcers and whatnot, not given to me by this industry. But I eat anything I want, and I don't gain any weight, so I don't worry about it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's go back to the phone, shall we, and put Julie on the horn with you. Hi, Julie.
Hi. First of all, I'm a virgin caller.
Oh, a virgin caller, and she wants to hear that virgin music. Good Lord. There she comes down the runway, the lovely Julie. Now a virgin, no more.
My first comment is that I love porno movies, and I could just watch them for hours and hours. My problem is finding people who will go with me. Most of my female friends don't like it, and if I find a man who's my lover, I find a problem with taking him to see porno movies. They generally tend to feel a little bit inferior when they're watching the people on the screen, and they feel that I enjoy watching the men on the screen, and they tend to not want to take me to see the porno movies.
That's interesting.
They should never feel inferior because we are automatons.
That to be a problem.
Yeah, okay. Bill, go ahead.
They should never feel inferior because you have to explain to the men that you don't want to make love to an automaton, and the majority of the men in the X-rated industry are automatons. It's like robotian sex. We have to perform in positions that you don't want your people to get into because it's like screwing with monkeys. We're screwing for the camera's sake, for the camera's eye. We may enjoy it cerebrally, but we don't really enjoy it physically because we're not allowed to. You know, occasionally we'll latch into somebody in a relaxed situation and get away with it, but most of the time we're showing off for the camera's sake. So next time you go to a porno movie with your boyfriend, point out to him that that man is not having as much fun as the man may think he's having.
Or as you and he are going to have a little later
on.
Also, the fact that that man is having to function with possibly 15 or 20 people standing there gawking at him. Right. And the woman is not having much more fun than the man is having at that point either, because you cannot really get into bed with a man and just start doing whatever you want to, because you have to keep in mind at the same time that you might be doing something that is going to get him to get off a little sooner than he should, which gets him in all kinds of trouble. So you kind of have to ride with him and let him do what he wants to.
Okay, now I have one other question. What do you think the best way is to meet a person for a threesome type of situation so that it's gracefully handled and you wouldn't offend another person? I have been involved in a situation twice, but it happened to be being in the right place at the right time with a particular friend. But I find those types of situations, even if I wanted to get into it, I wouldn't know how to approach it in getting a third person involved.
You want to set up a threesome. You want it to be another woman or another man?
Preferably another man, although I have fantasized about being with another woman, but have never had the courage to do that. I do enjoy watching it on the screen, but haven't had the courage to actually get involved in that kind of situation.
All right, Bill, any ideas for
A good, reputable swing club, one that screens its visitors, one that would go through and talk to you on the phone. There are introduction services that could also do the same situation. This is a very liberated city. There are lots of ads, and I think some of them have to be valid. And if you really want this, it can be found in those ads. There are also a lot of lonely people out there who have the same desire that you have, that wouldn't mind being a part of a threesome if you could meet them. And they're compatible human beings.
Did you hear our conversation the other evening? Was it last night, Julie, with Sally and her swinging club?
I missed most of it. I heard a little bit.
Well, Bill's absolutely right. A club, a party house, is probably a lot safer for you, a lot faster, and a lot more satisfactory. And just look at any of the magazine or the newspapers like Spectator, Bay Guardian, any of the periodicals, Pacific Sun, and I know Sally and the other houses run ads in all of those.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thanks for calling, dear.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Why do more flyers in the West choose United?
Marge, next week I'm going on a business trip.
That's nice, dear.
Well, should I go business class or United's new coach service?
Business class.
Why?
You're a businessman.
Oh, when a coach should go coach.
I suppose so.
It's not that simple, Marge.
I suppose not.
See, United has redesigned their 737 coach service here in the West, so there's more legroom. It's more comfortable.
Then take coach.
Well, on the other hand, United's business class is terrific. No big first-class seats, legroom, free wine and cocktails.
Then go business class.
I don't know.
Who's going with you?
The boss, that's who.
How's he going?
Good point, Marge.
We got the West United, fly the friendly skies.
United flies to Los Angeles every hour on the hour from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., plus 3 daily nonstops to Ontario. Call United or your travel agency today for reservations.
Traditional quality, fresh from Foremost.
Looks Pass the buttermilk, please.
Years ago, the quality of life was foremost. Like when the family gathered around the table at mealtime. Good taste, good conversation, and good memories. Today, the quality, freshness, and good taste you used to enjoy can still be found in Foremost dairy products.
When I'm thirsty, I love a good cold glass of buttermilk. It's great for baking, too.
Summer milk helps keep me trim.
It's a good thing.
My favorite is cottage cheese.
For yesterday's high quality and today's refreshing good taste, nutrition, and variety, the most popular family of dairy products is, what else? Foremost.
Wow, ice cream.
What kind would you like, honey?
Traditional quality, fresh from Foremost.
The KGO Shoppery is coming to your neighborhood. The KGO Shoppery, a 5-minute shopping spree in your favorite grocery store. Everything you stuff in your grocery cart is yours free. The next KGO Shoppery is coming to Cala Foods, Skyline Plaza, Daly City, 2 p.m. Thursday, July 14th. Entry blanks are available at the store 1 week in advance. Prizes will be awarded to participants who come closest to guessing the final total of the winner's grocery bill. Sponsor gifts are provided by Tillamook Cheese, Mary Ellen Jams and Jellies, Norway Sardines, Mahatma Rice, Ballpark Franks, Apple Juice, and Breyer's Grand Ice Cream. You could also win 3 days, 2 nights hotel accommodations and 2 round-trip tickets to Las Vegas, compliments of Southwest Airlines and the Holiday Inn Hotel and Casino. Free tickets for Bay Cruise, courtesy of the Red and White Fleet, and tickets to the San Mateo Fair. The KGO Shoppery, Thursday, July 14th at Cala Foods, Skyline Plaza, Daly City.
This is Sex Talk. Sex Talk is not a program for children, and parental guidance is strongly advised. Some adults may also find the discussion of human sexuality too graphic or frank, and may wish to tune elsewhere.
Our telephone number is 928-0104, and I'm saving whatever questions I have until the very end, so you'll have a chance to ask all yours. And let's get Greg on the horn. Hello, Greg.
Yes, I was curious about something that I had seen that has become one of my fantasies, a couple of my fantasies, in fact. I was wondering, are the women like Vanessa Del Rio and Georgina Spelman special, or do they do special exercises for things like double insertion and taking on a whole hand?
Fisting.
Fisting. Well, fisting is out right now. The films that you're seeing films that were made 2 or 3 years ago. We are no longer now to use our hands. We can use a couple of fingers. Yes, I'm willing to bet that they do exercises. Georgina is a marvelous specimen of a woman who is admittedly over 40 years old and loves reveling in that fact. And she is in better shape than some 18 to 20-year-olds that I've worked with. I did indeed work with Georgina in a movie called Ring of Desire, and I like to fly blind my first time. So after involving myself in a lot of oral time, Georgina, not expecting that insertion, hopped up and said, "I'll have no more of this," and ran from the room screaming. She then later worked with Drea in a movie called Country Comfort and said, "Your horrible husband, he did not warn me." And I can't see without my glasses. I wear glasses, but I, of course, tried to play it super macho in this one. So I did point into, and Georgina was howling at the end of me and ran from the room saying this is a horrible thing I had done. We're since become very close friends, but she is in marvelous shape. Marvelous, marvelous tight body. Vanessa is also in marvelous shape. Vanessa's a little too pneumatic for me. I don't like big tits. I like little boy bodies like Marilyn Chambers and my wife Drea and Jesse St. James. The small, handfuls more than I can handle, and that's it.
Do they do special exercises for this or something?
Well, a thing called pelvic control, I think it's pelvic floor controls or something like that for the vaginal muscles. Pelvic contractions are very valuable. You work on your own fingers, you play with dildos and stuff like that. It's a lot having to do with sit-ups and leg raises, and keeping yourself thinking fit will also keep you fit. That's part of the lifestyle.
Okay, Greg?
All right, thank you.
Thanks for calling. And hello, Sully. Which line shall I take? We got all this new equipment. Sully's got about 14 jobs to do in there. Hello, this is Don.
Hi,
Who's this?
this is Nancy.
All right, Nancy, what's on your mind?
I'm a first time, but I'd like to pass with the music, please.
Oh, all right.
I'd like to talk about music. Who and how do they pick the music for the movies? I'm not a professional. I don't see them all the time, but I'm curious of the music. It's just something that I don't care for.
Well, 9 times out of 10, what they'll do is they'll use needle drops. There aren't many films out right now that are original scores.
What do you mean needle drops?
Needle drops, just like a disc jockey would do.
Oh, I see what you mean.
I used to be a disc jockey, and that's what I did, was
Oh,
the
great.
original needle drops.
You feel at home here, yeah.
Yeah, not the cassette tapes. They do needle drops, or they will take a song that's already been done. Like, thinking back, there's a film called Vista Valley PTA, where they took the obvious Harper Valley PTA and put Vista Valley PTA words to it. Now, that's not original at all. On the other hand, there are companies like myself, and I just got done directing a film called Fantasy Follies, that had the entire videotape from beginning to end originally scored by a gentleman that has a group called SX Force. And Excess Force.
Excess.
I have every man's dream, false teeth.
Not mine.
The velvet touch.
It's like going to bed with a bed of dice.
But if they really want to do it, they should put original music to the films, because who wants to hear the same thing over and over and over again?
Well, it costs more.
You're seeing the same thing.
But it costs more.
It's worth it.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, but
It's
if they're cranking out a cheapie, why they'll use needle drops.
Right. Yeah.
In my opinion, the music is bad, and I do like music from big band to heavy metal. And I just feel the choice of music in every film is just the same, and music has so much to do with the whole act, and it's just terrible, in my opinion.
Well, I was going to mention Night Dreams as another. If you like heavy metal, a movie called Night Dreams is a well-scored film. If you like the current rock-type beat, a movie called California Valley Girls, Take It to the Max, has an inane score done by Excess Force again, and our friend who did Fantasy Follies. They are learning now, however, that music is essential because you not only want to appeal to the eye, but you want to appeal to the ear.
Right.
So we're becoming a full spectrum media because what we're trying to do is elevate, unfortunately, this media into the cable network situation where we shoot a movie hard X, soft X, hard R, soft R, and we're cramming it down your orifices one way or another. If we don't catch you in the theaters, we're going to get you in bed. So you'll get it, and like I say, look out for this, or listen out for Fantasy Follies, and also listen out for California Valley Girls and Night Dreams, because the music is beginning to grow into the films.
What Nancy's saying is also true of a lot of, well, let's use the term, legitimate films made in overseas, in Europe or the Orient. The same style, I've been trying to nail down the style or how many pieces of instruments are involved.
Right.
And as soon as you hear it, you say, oh, God, here comes another one of those dogs, you know?
Well, see, one of the things that the X-rated industry does is they go out and they hire people to perform. Even at our Erotica Awards, which are held in Los Angeles, we get people from Las Vegas to perform. I think that if any of the producers are listening to this, that they should take note that there are people like Marilyn Chambers or Paul Thomas or Ron Jeremy that plays the piano, and people that sing that are within our own industry, and they should give these people a break to help score the films or do the singing to them. And I think it would make everything a lot better than having to go into a legitimate industry to get people to score our films. Is ridiculous.
Yeah, you have multi-talented people. You're right.
Absolutely.